a modern metropolis. Here you'll find plenty of people, towering skyscrapers, and a commercial city. But it's not the most typical of places south of the Yangtze River. If you want to see that, you have to head on over to Kunshan. It's very close nearby, and there you'll have an excellent 2 or 3 day stay. And that's exactly why we're here today. I'm Yin, and welcome to Travelogue. That was a quick 20-minute ride from Shanghai. And here we are now in Kunshan, where there's 3 very famous water villages. We're going to head on over right now to Tiandeng. And I think I see plenty of buses over there, so I'm going to hop on.
Ah, that's a little more like it. Stone bridges, flowing streams, and quaint houses along the waters. This is the typical scenery of the area just south of the Yangtze River, a region named Jiangnan in Chinese. It's one of the most idyllic sights to see. Kunshan's ancient water towns are places you might only have envisioned in your dreams. So villages like Zhouzhuang, Jingxi, and Tiandeng need to be experienced with the heart.
If you come to Kunshan, one place you certainly can't miss is the ancient water village known as Tiandeng, and it's typical of the southern water villages just south of the Yangtze River. And besides the wonderful scenery here all around, one thing you should note is that many artists and literary scholars call this place home. In particular is the man who established the Kun opera.
Tiandeng's history dates back 2,500 years. To this day, the people of Tiandeng preserve traditional lifestyles. You'll find shopkeepers taking down their wooden plank boards and opening up shop if you can get up early. Before tourists get here, locals get ready for a brand new day. And being a water village, it's no surprise that water is deeply rooted in the culture of the village. There's no admission fee to tour the streets of Tiandeng, but you need to buy a ticket if you want to see the tourist attractions here.
This is a strange shop here. You see, the counters are so high you can't even see any of the items for sale. Wonder what type of store this is. It's strange enough. There's a door over here. It's a pawn shop.
This pawn shop was built in the late Ming, early Qing dynasty. The goods that could be pawned here range from clothing and common items to jewelry and other expensive goods. Since this was a high-class pawn shop, the pawn manager would evaluate the prize goods, whereas his attendants would examine the cheaper items. Back then, this was the largest pawn shop in the Jiangnan area. The owner of this pawn shop was the Yu family, a wealthy family who lived in this large complex with over 120 rooms scattered over 6 buildings. These are 6 vertically lined one after the next. So, as you walk deeper into the buildings, you can see different halls and the entire complexity of the residence. This was the living quarters of the elite. Jiangnan was home to many elite, and at the same time, inspired many artists.
Gujian Memorial, I think it's over there. Gu Jian is actually the famous man who established Kun opera. And now Kun opera is one of the oldest operatic art forms here in China. It's even older than Peking opera. And this memorial here was his residence over 700, 800 years ago. So let's take a look here inside. Now, it's said that if you come on the holidays or the weekends, you just might be lucky enough to catch a performance by one of the leading actors of Kun opera. It's a little bit quiet on today, but maybe when you come around, you'll see something special.
Kun opera has been listed as a world cultural heritage and served as the mother of hundreds of Chinese operas. On the second floor of the Gu Jian Memorial, you'll find introductions to Gu Jian's life and Kunxu. Besides Gu Jian, a famous Chinese philosopher, Gu Yanwu, is a Qiandeng native. The Gu Yanwu residence was built in the 17th century, and Gu's family was one of the four most distinguished families of the Jiangnan region, with members becoming the officials and famous scholars in the Ming and Qing dynasties. This residence was built in the typical early styles, and the garden in the back really resembles a miniature emperor's garden. The people of the water village live peacefully in homes alongside small bridges over flowing waters. The town is encapsulated in a bubble of tranquility. So, it's no surprise we can find an ancient temple standing quietly over here. The Extending Happiness Temple was built in the 6th century. It's said that in the year 1008, there were 1008 rooms, and the temple accommodated more than 800 monks and priests. There's no better place than this water village for a temple, where we are swept away from the modern world to focus on the inner spirit. A part of getting to know Qiandeng is tasting the delicious local snacks. Shops can be found at virtually every corner, so be sure to give it all a try. You won't regret it.
You know, along these alleys, the most common thing you'll find are snack stores. And of the snacks, the most popular is something called the wa di su, which, strangely enough, literally means a snack crisp that you put under your sock. And I think, well, there's a store here, and let's see which one it is. 师傅，那个咱们这有wa di su吗？
对对对，有，我就这个wa di su。
哦，这个就是wa di su。
对对对，你可以来个尝尝。
看一下这个东西。咦，这个为什么叫wa di su啊？
这个wa di su的来历很长，有几十年了。这个形状像瓦底。做起来wa di su是酥的，有几层做起来，吃起来要挺香，香葱椒盐的。
So you don't actually put this in your sock, but the snack itself sort of resembles an insole. And wow, you have scallions, and let's try the flavor. Really fragrant. It's salty and sweet. And 这个是您自己做的吗？
对对对，我们自己做的，里面有工厂，哎，你可以来看看。
能看看吗？
对对对，来来来。
好。
Like most stores here, this is a mom-and-pop shop, where everything is fresh out of the oven. If you're the curious type, you can even see them at work in the back, kneading dough, shaping the pastries, and baking it in the hot ovens. Every family knows how to make these local snacks, and the narrow alleys are filled with the fresh scent of wa di su.
Look at these unique little handicrafts here. Hey, 师傅， 这些都是什么东西做的呀？
这是那个橄榄核。
那这些工艺品都是您自己做的吗？
一部分是我自己做的，有一部分呢是那种学徒做的。
那这个需要多长时间能做好？
这个嘛要看图案的，一般像这种东西呢，只要2-3个小时就可以完工了。你看这个船吧，这个船就费事了，你用放大镜放一下看一下。
我看一下这个。
很精致的，这个窗户可以打开的，又叫合周记。
Wow, this one, it's really intricate. You need to make it bigger, and you see actually the details.
Tiandeng is not big, so a few hours may be all you need to see it all. But I would recommend that you stay here for at least an entire day to experience the full flavor of the water town from sunrise to sunset. Kunshan, as one of the most economically wealthy regions in China, is surprisingly blessed with the mystifying natural charm of these water villages, where the modern world seems to be a concept far remote from the people. It's like that in Tiandeng and also in Zhouzhuang.
All right, so here we are in Zhouzhuang, and luckily from Kunshan, there's plenty of buses that run every single day, every 10 minutes, and it takes maybe only an hour to get here, a little less. So Zhouzhuang, though, is exactly the place I want to be at because it's the most well-known water village here in China. So I'm going to go check it out.
Zhouzhuang is commonly referred to as the #1 water village in China, with around 900 years of history. The beauty of Zhouzhuang lies in her many scenic and historical sites, ancient bridges that link the whole town together, and the houses that were built according to the twists and bends of the rivers. Zhouzhuang is surrounded and divided by lakes and rivers, so it's no wonder it's been called the Venice of the East. Entrance into Zhouzhuang is now 100 RMB, which covers all the sites here. Once here, be sure to take the boat tour to get a view of the entire village. It's just 10 RMB per person, but you have to wait for the entire boat to fill up. Or you can rent the entire boat for 80 RMB. If you're lucky, the woman who navigates might also sing some local tunes.
Of course, the best way to experience the water village is a boat ride here through the narrow waters. Here you'll get a view of the people walking along the bridges, and especially in the drizzle, you'll feel the serenity of the entire environment. And of course, combined with the sound of the most traditional singing.
My favorite sight in Zhouzhuang is watching the drizzle on a breezy day. And chances are that you will just get a rainy day during your stay, as it comes and goes at any time in Jiangnan. So always be sure to pack an umbrella. On days like this, the glistening stone pavements, black tiled roofs, and slightly perturbed water surface paint a particularly artistic picture. To warm up inside, why not go to a tea house and sip some hot tea, listen to some Suzhou folk music, and watch the boats pass by along the water. For some people, sitting by the water may sound like a waste of time, but in Zhouzhuang, nothing is more enjoyable. You can relax and watch the local people going about their daily business like they did hundreds of years ago. Most of the residential houses in Zhouzhuang were built during the Ming or Qing dynasties. Shenting residence was built in 1742 by the descendant of the first millionaire of the Jiangnan region, Shen Wansan. This mansion is more than 2,000 square meters and serves as an extraordinary example of how the rich lived in feudal China. There are more than 100 rooms, and each item in the room is made with particular attention to detail. This place look familiar at all? Well, Shenting has been used as the set for several Chinese movies.
This is a pretty interesting view from upstairs. Just like back in the old days when girls would stand up here and get a little peek at the men who would come and try to court them. They weren't allowed to come face to face with these men, but they could get a little look through the corner of their eye. Pretty interesting. Wow. Check out this enormous kitchen. Here you have the cutting boards and the stoves, the utensils and pots and pans of all different sizes. And it was even back in the day that people put such great importance on food and cuisine. And the food of this family actually affected the cuisine of the entire area. If you go around now to the different restaurants or, some of the shops, you can find still the Wansan family feast and maybe get a taste of food back in the ages. Along this cultural street, a lot of things that you'll find are crafts, but in particular, it's these handmade crafts that appeal the most. And for instance, see this woman over here? She's making cloth and using this spinning wheel to make the items in her store. Let's take a look inside here. Next step is actually weaving it, see? It's hard to imagine that everything here is made by this process. And back over here is a store with shirts and bags and children's clothing. You can see all sorts of that. Look at that. It's the local style. And although most people don't wear this anymore, some people still do, the elderly and maybe traditionals. 老板，我能看一下这件吗？好的，可以的。Okay. So you don't see many people on the streets with this, but I don't know. Maybe it does sort of would look good on me. Not quite sure about the taste. What do you think? Huh?
The long cultural street is named Zhenfeng Street, and it displays the lifestyles of the people of Jiangnan. Stores have been preserved from centuries ago, with craftsmen working in the traditional ways, to give visitors a better sense of what life in the water town was really like. Not only can you see it with your eyes, but you can also purchase these handmade goods and bring out a little bit of Jiangnan in your house. But don't forget to bargain.
Did you buy anything?
Well, there's lots of things by my feet and everybody carrying things.
But
so
many
we have.
things. Let's see.
Okay.
Let's see what we get.
Are they all?
Oh, we got the little. I love the little shoes. I have a shoe collection. I have.
This is the cloth.
The cloth.
The very typical cloth.
Silk scarves. Oh, I like this. This is my favorite. They actually have my size here.
What is this?
This is of the
of the town with the boat.
It can be said that the spirit of the town is buried in the water. It's these water paths that form the bloodline of the city, and you can sense the strong water culture that affects every aspect of people's lives. Whereas we have streets and roads, Zhouzhuang's streams are the main means of transportation. Jiangnan's weather is mild all year round, so it's a good tourist destination anytime. However, you have to dress warmly in the winter. Although the temperature is not low, the dampness makes the air feel chillier than it actually is.
It's a really beautiful village and you should definitely go.
Yeah, you have never seen anything like it.
A trip through Zhejiang actually only takes one day. However, I highly recommend that you stay here overnight because come nighttime, you get a completely different face of the entire water village, lit up by lanterns and glistening waters. It's something you definitely have to experience. And luckily, there's one very unique inn. It's over there. It's right alongside the water, and you get a perfect view of that. So let's go check out this fabulous place.
The waterside inns all preserve the typical Jiangnan style.
哎，您好，那个能看一下房间吗？好，谢谢。These are very old steps here, and you can see this room is quite dim, so you have to be very careful when climbing up. Wow. This is a pretty homey room here. And back many years ago, this just was a typical residence. And afterwards, many tourists and visitors were allowed to stay here in this home. And even today, you see the bedding all the way to the curtains and to the chairs even. It's very traditional local flavor, just of the water villages south of the Yangtze River. But the main reason why I chose this room was the view from the window. And I think I can get a view of the water.
To see Zhejiang's culture, you can catch the nighttime performance, Zhejiang's Four Seasons. This performance uses the natural landscape as the background for the show, and it depicts the traditional lifestyle of the people. The performance is divided into 3 parts. First, the water culture of Zhejiang, and includes fishing, singing, and the women who navigate the boats. The second part focuses on the 4 seasons, and the third on local culture. The 1.5-hour show is on every night at 8 p.m., and tickets are around 140 RMB per person. Now that we've satisfied our eyes, it's time to satisfy our stomachs. If you have half a day, head to Yangchenghu. From Kunshan, there's a direct bus line that takes only 20 minutes. There, you can enjoy some of the most famous hairy crab. During the fall months, hordes of people will gather here to enjoy this delicacy. And the crabs are generally priced high, from at least 60 to over 100 RMB per crab, depending on size. And speaking of size, the crabs here are as big as 250 to 300 grams. And they're expensive because the water quality is excellent and the crab meat is very tender.
真的好吃，真的好吃。
比较有名吧。
比较新鲜的。
一分价钱一分货。
Although crabs are expensive, people don't hesitate to come here for a weekend retreat. The over 400 restaurants are all packed, so it's advised that you reserve 2 weeks in advance.
Come nighttime, the lights light up and people rush on over from far and wide for one thing, and that is to enjoy the local, very delicious crab. It's part of the culture here of Kunshan, just like the natural landscape and the local peoples. But there's only so much I can tell you, so you really have to come and experience it yourself. I'm Yin, and see you next time on Travelogue.